Dear Twin Flame souls out there, welcome to the Twin Flame Awakening Journey podcast, and today is an episode 111. 111. The sign of you of being a twin flame or not. In today's episode, we are going to dive into the things about you that can identify as a twin flame. I'm not the biggest fan of the term of twin flame, and often when we're trying to figure it out, am I on this twin flame journey? Have I met my twin flame? Am I the twin flame? Or all of these kind of things. And in today's episode, I want to walk you through that are pretty similar things that twin flame energy code is carrying on. And I bring it in again, 11 of these examples. I'm not saying you have to have all of them, but if you have the majority of them, then you are with this twin flame code, although I wouldn't call this divine, sacred energy or the mission or the soul or this part of twin flames, but that's what we're using it in a world. I know when you start first figuring it out, and in certain ways it helped me of when I put it down that, I have met my twin flame. There is definitely some kind of frequency in this word that resonates with our soul, and it gives us more peace. But I don't like putting things into the box and label it that's how it's supposed to be. I have spoken to so many of you until now, and I can tell you that each time this journey surprises me, each time it shows me something that my mind didn't expect or didn't believe or didn't have any knowledge of it, and later on it tends to manifest in 3D. And that's why I say also that twin flames are very good manifestators when they tap into their authentic self. And often on this journey, when we are growing up, we tend to lose of our authentic self because we don't fit in exactly as others or as society expects us, because we have, and I don't like putting it that we have something so special. I believe somehow everybody is special one way or another. But what I want to say that after also doing the retreat here in Cyprus, everybody were able to see that twin flames, they're holding some kind of a energy or frequency that is very, like, you understand each other very well. And that's why I want to talk about it. Like I promised, I have a little giveaway for those who have been supporting this podcast. For those who are on Spotify, I want to say a huge thank you. The stats or this feedback I got it from Spotify about this year, I never thought of reaching to the milestones as such. My idea was that if one person listens to it, gets some help, gets some guidance, feels at peace, it's all good. I don't do that for numbers. I don't do that for, let's call it, fame or recognition or feeling so important. I don't do any of that for this reason. I always say, even if today there's only one person who's going to listen, and there's only one person who's going to leave a comment or leave a like, I feel good. Because I know that that's how the light travels through each of us. And if one person changes, even if I'm no longer here, then I feel good. Or at least my soul feels good, because my soul made me to do it. So, and same for YouTube, we have hit 12,000 subscribers. It's beyond magical. I never thought of this to happen, so I just want to say a huge thank you to you. And that's why I have a little giveaway, so you can book a session with me, whether it's the first session, activation session, or just a channeling session. And there are 3 coupons available, so grab them as quickly as you can. They are in the description, and the coupon code is I am divine. So grab this as quickly as you can. I am divine. 3 coupons only available. So head over to the website. All the links are in the description. And I'll see you at the session. So now let's dive into our 111 energy of who are the twin flames. And I am not talking of your divine masculine, so-called, who is running, or I'm not talking of the whole twin flame experience. I have a couple of videos of those as well. But today I'm talking about you, my beautiful soul. And the first sign of twin flames is often that you are highly sensitive. And you are highly sensitive since your childhood already. Whether you are sensitive through your body, a meaning of you receive information through your body. So let's say anytime something bad happens, your body already receives that before. Or anytime you feel uncomfortable, let's say you feel someone's energy is not good, or you feel like, no, they have some bad intention and you're feeling it. And you might also feel other people's energies, emotions, and you just like, you know it before you know it. And as a child, sometimes it's difficult to explain that, and you're very sensitive for example, for noises. You cannot be in crowded places, or you can be in the places, but you also like to spend a lot of time alone. And this is why I also say for parents who have children or things like this, alone time for child is very, very important, as children are sponges, and they are sponges for energies as well. And to calm down the energies, one of the ways is, let's say, doing art, or going into the forest, or just lying down, looking at the books, all of these kind of things. Just to have a quiet hour, it helps tremendously, as highly sensitive children, and including you, in sense of when you were highly sensitive, you could get overwhelmed, and also sometimes you could feel things and say to some people like, I feel this way, or I have this, and you'd be told like, no, that's not real, that's not what is happening, don't imagine, so on and so on. And that's very common in that sense. So just to say that if you were, and you still are, a highly sensitive, then that's one of the things of being so-called twin flame and the light worker, of because you're experiencing energies before your mind or our normal system, that we call it so-called normal system, understands what's going on. And that actually brings us to the next thing, is that twin flames are often, as they are very sensitive, empaths, and they take other people's energy, and that where comes into a people-pleasing part. Meaning of, you feel that somebody is sad, you feel that somebody is upset, you feel that they are not happy, and now you're trying to make them happy. You put your own needs, your own way of seeing the world aside in order to make them happy. So you would start people-pleasing them. And that's why I'm just going to say that it's a very big gift when your twin appears in your life, to teach you that you are not responsible for other people's happiness. You're responsible for your own. You're responsible for your own love, what you should know and what you should trust. And you are responsible for your own life, in the sense of that, even in this inner world. That's why the ego that is going to be there. And now, very surprising thing here, that a lot of people don't talk about it, that when our ego dies, also part of this people pleasing and the fact of feeling responsible for other people's happiness is going to die. And that is something very hard and sounds very weird, that how come when I stop people pleasing, it feels liberating. But it's been coded inside of you for so long, that because you feel, and as an empath, you want to make others to feel good. You want to make them to feel that it's all good. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but not at the cost of your own knowing and your own truth. And this is very important, and we get to that at the end of the podcast. Why do I talk about it? For example, I just bring it in. Let's say you see that your mom is unhappy and you want to make your mom very happy, which is so normal as a child. But now comes in the fact that you do everything. You learn how to behave certain way. You learn how to not to speak your truth. You see that your mom wants you to be let's say, a ballerina. But you don't want to be a ballerina, but you don't want to disappoint them. You, let's say, want to be a, I don't know, artist. Or maybe you want to be a doctor. I don't know, something, whatever. And you keep on suppressing yourself because you see that when you speak your truth, it will make them unhappy. So you rather keep on pleasing them. But this is not how you're supposed to do that. But the fact is, you are a bit of in a battle because you are receiving this feeling that you are, like, you don't want anybody to feel unhappy. You don't want them to feel sad. You have a lot of compassion towards them. So you keep on finding somehow excuses for them. And you also find the ways of showing to them that, and it doesn't have to be a family member. It can be your friends. Let's say you like to organize events or parties to make sure that everybody's happy. And you put yourself a little bit as a second. And I'm not saying, and here's something very important, I am not saying that you should stop that part. What I'm saying is not the cost of your own authentic self. Meaning of, if you see that I have given love and the love has not been received, then you don't need to change your love. It's the other person's responsibility whether they're going to accept that as you are and as your love is, or they are not and they're going to live as it is. But for you, it's very important to realize that you're not responsible for their love, for their happiness, for their healing, for their transformation. And you are only responsible for yourself. And that's why the inner work, this change and shift, is very important, including speaking your truth. Extremely important. And I know, and this is exactly coming down to the being highly sensitive and having an empathic experiences where you feel and you know without knowing, makes it a little bit difficult because you know before anything unfolds. And so you obviously want to make the situation better. But I used to make this mistake over and over and over again. I was one of the biggest people pleaser in that sense of making sure that everybody has everything. I would give everything. I work pretty much everything I worked for, I gave it to others. Not to myself, but to others. For myself, to buy a pair of pants, I would think of 100 times. But for another person, to book them a holiday or a flight or do this, no problem whatsoever. And I still believe in giving a lot. I believe of giving in that sense will come to the return. And I don't have this idea that, I shouldn't be giving. Not at all. I still give, and I will always continue giving because I believe in giving. What I mean is of the boundaries. And now that comes to the next thing. And this is something also that is very important of twin flame union, setting a clear boundaries. And I had very hard time of this. And this is one of the lessons. We'll talk about this in the future episodes of Twin Flame Lessons you're going to learn. And things you have to somehow T-code and unlearn and set a new way of that. Is setting a boundary. And I'm not saying that the boundaries, and here is often we get misunderstood about the boundary because we're letting things to go too far. And when we get when we let things to go too far, or we become resentful, we become more of angry, we feel like I don't want to talk to this person anymore. I don't want to see this person. I don't want anything to do with that. But the boundaries have to come inside of you. And when you're very clear about your boundaries, you're also starting to see who are really your friends, who are really for you there. And also, you are going to attract your twin within a highest version of them. Not the ego version, but the highest version, the version that you know, the soul version. Not the one that is there with their ego and plays the games in here and there, because you have seen the version of them that is the highest form. And that comes through being highly sensitive, having empathic abilities, all of these things, because you are receiving something. And that's why we had a lot of awakenings during the COVID time, 2020, 2022, a lot of them. And why? Because people looked into each other's eyes. And what are the eyes? Gateway to the soul. A lot of awakenings were during this time. And also a lot of understandings, because we took a time off from this very busy time. And we had a time to reconnect within ourselves. But now coming back to the boundaries, and the boundaries are very, very important. Boundaries are, I love boundaries today. I had very hard time with them before, but now I love them. Because it shows me very quickly of who is there for their own benefit, or who is there actually in my life that wants to grow with me, is a support for me and understandable. So here is just bringing in an example. And this is something for you also to realize, that if you have it that, oh, I don't love my twin because my twin didn't do that for me, I understand why your twin sets the boundaries with you and to teach you that. Because you have to accept somehow as this person is, and what are this person's choices. Not to form them into what you want them to be, and not the way you want them to love you. That's not the point of that. And so boundaries are also the fact of when you're going to say, no, I'm very sorry, but I'm not going to do that today. I can do that in 2 days. And now you can see the reaction. If the reaction is like a tantrum of, oh, but I want this today, why can't you do this today for me? Why you're not coming? Why you're not doing it? Then you're realizing, okay, this person is there for their own good, for their own need and their own want. They actually are not there with you. And this is so liberating, because you all of a sudden you realize, wow, but why do I waste my energy into that? Why do I want to put it somewhere where the person is only out for their own good? And that's why on Twin Flame Journey, I am not saying we shouldn't speak our truth, and I'm getting to the point where I'm talking about it. But these things, these little things I'm telling today, are a very big shift. The same thing is to set the boundary how your twin is treating you, for example. If your twin is treating you of sending you one message here and there, or your twin is showing up when they need something, then your job is to learn a boundary, and not the boundary from the place of anger, place of resentful, but from the place of saying, hi, I see you texting me at 2 a.m. or whenever I come to your mind, whenever you're ready for it. I'm sorry, but this is not exactly how I envision our communication. I would need this and this. And then you get to see how they're going to respond. Because you don't want to have a person in your life that is there when they need something. When their tantrum kicks in of thinking, oh, now I want this and now I have to get this. And this is something for, and I would always say, if And that's why I'm not saying you don't need, like, in the sense of, there's nothing wrong of having dreams, speaking your truth the way you feel, and living on it. There's nothing wrong with that. But going into the state of, I want this now, this has to be this way, is universe doesn't work. And then the universal law is boundary. As crazy as it sounds, one of the universal laws, I don't know how many of you have listened or understand about universal law, but I'm just going to bring it in. And boundaries on this journey are so important. It's one of the key elements. And boundaries of how someone talks to you, boundaries of how someone treats you, and even it's your twin flame, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, none of these labels are giving an access for someone to treat them however they want. But also here has to come in of an acceptance that people are the way they are and we don't change them. And when you have this understanding of a boundary, you're realizing, I'm coming from the place of love. I'm not hurting anybody. But if they don't see that, that's okay too. It doesn't mean you have to cut the contact with them. Not at all. What I mean is that you connect within yourself and you realize, this is too much for me. I disagree with that. Boundaries are very important. I had very hard time of setting a boundary with my family in certain ways. And for example, just to bring in an example from my own experience. As long as I did everything by myself and being independent and strong and not asking help, everything was good. Helping my family, giving them an opportunities to go to very nice places, doing all of these things, and I worked for them. I earned my money to please other people. I'm going to say that I'm not a very materialistic person, so for me, in a sense of, money is a tool and money is an exchange of energy. That's why I charge this. That's what I do, because it's an exchange of energy. And I believe that if there is an exchange of energy, the money multiplies and all of these things. And I'm not saying you have to believe in that. It's just what I believe, and I've seen it in my life. As people respect things better when they pay for it, as also there is more attention. Like, for example, when you pay a higher price for something, there's more attention to it, which means you're multiplying it already. Money, for me, is an energy exchange. But just the only thing is, I'm not a materialistic person, so I'll buy anything really. I still have, even right now, I have pants on that are 12 years old. You might be thinking right now, who is this person there? Not buying even pants to herself. But just to say that. And so I had very hard time of when I asked help from my family. I said, I need help with this. And they had to be in an environment that requires for them to help me harder. And I could feel the resentful from there. And later on, I could feel like also frustrated, because I feel like I've done so much for you. Is it that hard for come towards me and help me for a minute? And then I have with these mixed feelings, because obviously I could feel the energy. So for example, I asked someone, could you please help me to, let's say, clean the house with me, because I have to go somewhere and I come back. So if you could start, and I could feel the faces like, oh, okay, I'll do that because you said so, but not because I feel I want to support you, I want to help you. And often on my ways, I always felt, and then I would rather not ask because I don't want to feel that feeling. But now, thanks to this twin flame journey, I really learned that to set the boundary. And it's not that I cut off the conversations or anything. I'll just take a time to digest certain things. And thanks to this, all of the practices, all of the things I do, I have a lot of compassion for people, a lot of compassion. But I have set the clear boundaries with certain things. And that's very liberating. And I kind of like it. One of the most beautiful things that I like is when someone throws a tantrum at me of saying, oh, but I was expecting you to come, or I want it this way, or I want it right now, and you are not here, or you are not coming, or let's say something happened to me, and I feel the liberation of there, that realizing, okay, it's all about them, and they don't, how do I say, surrender into how the world is going to be, because everything's going to happen in between. And I feel so liberated from there on. And that's why I talk about boundaries. Because when you set the boundaries, and I set the boundaries with my twin in a certain ways of saying, hey, I see you showing up here and there. And it's very confusing for me. So whether you're going to be honest with me or not, I just cannot deal with that. And it was from a very loving place. And it really changed everything, because it came from the loving place, not from the place of, I want to attack, I want to say how it's supposed to be. I just said, I don't understand what you're doing. It's confusing for me. If you could explain me that. And where everything really started to shift and change. And boundaries are one part of it. Boundary is, like I said, universal law, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about boundaries as universal law. I focus a lot on this at this moment, but I just know that for empaths and people who feel the energies, they have difficulties to set boundaries. I just bring it in the importance of love of boundaries and universal law of boundaries, and it's really existing, and I bring it in both ways of micro and macro level. And why do I bring it in? Because it's a fundamental to maintain balance, harmony, and growth. So if you're wondering how to balance your energy, boundaries are one of them, and it's one of the lessons of that journey. So, for example, in a macro level, in the universe, the boundaries exist everywhere. And so just to think about it, that the sun, or like the earth and the sun, the earth, for example, orbits the sun with a specific boundary that allows it to life to thrive. If sun comes too close, what happens? It burns us. And if we don't have sun, we do not grow, or we don't have light. We don't have anything in it. So the boundary has to be there in balance. And why do I talk about it? Because it's such a somehow very important of understanding that if things are in boundaries and in balance, that's where the balance comes in, things can grow and things can change. But if, let's say, these natural boundaries that are given by the sun and the earth are disrupted, then the chaos and everything will happen. And it's the same in human life. It's exactly the same. If you don't set the boundary, if you don't start that from there, you let someone to come too close, to burn your energy, to put you down, to tell you that's not true, to tell you all of this, it goes out of the balance. Or if someone uses you all the time, or if you feel very uncomfortable, but you push yourself through, you said, no, I promise this. Let's say a lot of people who struggle in the marriages, thinking of, yeah, but I put it down into my marriage vow, or I put it down in the contract, now I'm going to push it through. No, you don't need to push through anything. You need to set the boundaries and become clear with that. And so without clear boundaries, both in the physical universe and in personal lives and everything that we live in, all of these systems will become overwhelmed. So you need to realize that the balance comes from setting the boundaries. You protect your own energy, and in order like this, you will get into the growth. For example, in human dynamics, like in the sense of twin flame, and even in human parents, sisters, mothers, whatever way you would like to, if you want to connect, and same thing on twin flame journey, I know we would be, when we are in a state of obsession, we would accept them in any kind of way we could, any kind of way. But this is again the learning of the twin flame journey. Boundary. You're learning about yourself, what matters to you, what's important to you, how you like to be treated. And that's like the universe supports the law of boundaries. You will see when you set the boundary, how universe starts supporting it. So just to say that if everything is written in the law of the universe, everything, and if you start living with the law of the universe supports you along the way. It's that simple. And I'm just going to say that I know that for twin flames, it's very different. So as the universe is going to foster the relationships that are built on trust. So trust is the next word that is so important. Trust and speaking your truth. Other than control and dependency. Control and dependency are not boundaries. When someone tries to control you, or when you try to control the outcome, or when you are dependent on something, you're not setting a boundary. And I have been trying to talk about it a lot, quite a lot. And I know because I suffered with that a lot. And it was one of the lessons I had to learn. And I know learning of twin flames, meeting you in Cyprus, is one of the hardest things to do. And the other thing is speaking the truth and being authentic. So all of this things are important. And I just bring it in that just a very interesting fact, but we give you perspective. Like universe is made out of energy. Me, I'm a believer of the energy. I believe if you connect with the energy, if you shift the energy within you, because you are the universe, you're holding every single code of the universe. If you shift that, you shift the world around you. And the universe is made up of energy. So energy respects boundaries. When you set clear energetic boundaries, you're starting to create a protective shield that helps you to avoid observing negative energy from the others. And like this, the universe supports you by responding to your intention, that you want to protect your energy. You deserve something better, and that's so important. Boundaries and deserving and receiving are in one bubble. When you know what you deserve, you set the boundary of not accepting anything else. And again, universe supports that. And when you're mindful of your boundaries, you're going to attract more positive and harmonious experiences. And like I said before, the moment I can let go of someone's tantrum, I want this is how it's supposed to be, why is it not like this? It's so liberating for me. And so just in a cosmic sense, the universe, universe is a magically big place. Even light and sound have boundaries. They travel through space within defined frequencies and wavelengths. So thinking of the humans or you as a twin flame, as energetic beings, you need boundaries to manage the flow of energies in and out of their lives. So the universe aligns within your boundaries by guiding you towards situations and people that resonate with your energy. And I'm repeating that. The universe aligns your boundaries by guiding you towards situations and people that resonate with your energy. So if you haven't set boundaries, you're going to meet more and more and more of these lessons. If you want me to talk about the boundaries in depth and how universe works and what are the exercises and all of that, please let me know down in the comments. And I really, really want to say, boundaries do not mean that you're going to be mean towards someone. Saying, oh, I don't like you, don't talk to me. Oh, I disagree with you, you are like this. Oh, you didn't do this to me, now I don't want to talk to you. This is not boundary. Don't confuse ego protection and boundary. Boundary is what you feel inside. For example, you feel, I'm feeling tired today. Let's say you met a lot of people, you feel tired, and you have to meet a friend, or and you would say, I'm really sorry, but today, and somehow I feel tired. I don't think it's the best idea for us to meet because I'm not in my best energy. And if your friend understands you and is on the same page, would say, yeah, I totally understand, don't worry, we'll meet another time. But if your friend would throw a tantrum of saying, oh, but you promised we're going to meet today at 2 o'clock and this is going to happen and this is going to happen and this is going to happen, then you know that they were never there for you. They're there to get something from you or to have their life with their plan. I like Sadhguru said a lot about it, that we live in this world where I want this way. If this doesn't go this way, then it's a wrong way. But you know, my way and your way and the third person way and the fifth person way and the sixth person way are not the same. So how can we operate in this earth by you want your way, but what about my way? For example, you want that the sky is purple, but I want the sky to be yellow. So how? There is no this is how it's supposed to be. But with this we talk about it a lot, because I went now a little bit too much deep into the fact of boundaries. But why? Because I know it's hard for twin flames to balance that. And that comes the next thing, that the twin flames have a very, very hard time. And this is all connected, of balance of giving and receiving. So you give, but you don't know how to receive. And you had the tendency to overgive and overplease, and same for your twin flame, that you feel, if I say no to them, if I'm not going to show up, if I'm not going to respond their message, they will never come back. You're in a state of, I have to please, I have to make sure I give. But then when you receive, you feel enormous guilt and you feel like, okay, this person paid my lunch. Okay, I don't know what to do now. Because you get to this state of blocking. Now here is another thing. You need to learn how to receive. Because this love will not come to you if you don't know how to receive. Hard lesson was for me too. So just to say that I am not here to say that it's an easy thing to to do. I did not know how to receive. I did not know how to receive compliments. I did not know how to receive. If someone paid my lunch, I was like so stressed out. I felt so guilty how someone can do that to me. I couldn't. If someone offered me something nice, I couldn't take for a very long time gifts, even for my own birthday. I could throw the biggest birthday party, but when they bring me gifts, I feel guilty for that. Yeah, and that's how it was. Honestly, I had to learn to receive and trust that this is for me, for my energy. Was to step into the divine feminine, to trust that part. And now I can say, and when I stepped into that, I met amazing people, including all of you. That's why I say, when sometimes people say, oh, there are no nice people in this world and everybody is out there, I'll be like, I don't know. I have met amazing people in this world. They have given me so much love, so much support, so much light. So, but I had to learn to receive you, to receive that you exist. So that's one of the things. And of course, to receive the love from my twin, to receive that magic. Then another part is that we often are in a very strong sense of looking for our purpose. So we look around, what is our purpose, what we should do, what we should become, all of these kind of things. And we kind of don't find a peace in a way of what we do exactly. And that's another negative thing. It's just one part of transformation and all of this, that you keep on looking for the purpose. And here I just want to say that your purpose might be to just have children. And now I really want to remove that word, just. Your purpose might be to have your children and to raise them into amazing human beings. Because this work is very, very hard. And women are the only channels in this world who can do that. You're the only channel. You have the only way of giving birth to this earth. Or you might be the one who is just there with their presence. And you have changed and shifted people tremendously. Don't look that the purpose has to be mainstream, big, change. Think of these people who have given you purpose or have shown you the way. Maybe your grandmother, maybe your aunt, maybe someone who gave you love, your twin, is giving you purpose to become the higher self, the best version of you, and you working towards that. And maybe sometimes it's to write a book. Maybe sometimes it's to write a song. Maybe sometimes it is to speak in front of the people and mentor them. But don't look the purpose that it has to be something mainstream. Every little action, every little seed of love is going to bring the change and shift. So the next thing is for twin flames is that they're very good at inner reflection. So they take time to self-reflect. They're trying to figure it out, the deeper purpose, their emotions. Why am I in this world? So many of you would be sometimes feeling like, why am I alive? What's the purpose of me being here? Why? And this can make you sometimes isolated. You can also have sometimes a situation, for example, you were bullied at school, or you didn't fit into the groups, or you didn't really have like many boyfriends or girlfriends. And it wasn't because you weren't attractive or anything like this. I always say that your light was just more intense and it's difficult to handle it. That's also the reason why sometimes your twin flame chooses someone not with your light, and it's not because you aren't beautiful and not because of your energy isn't amazing. It's because if we are not ready to receive something so magical, we choose something less if we don't feel comfortable. And this is also just to bring it in another day. I remember I grew up in a very, I don't want to call it poor. I had food on the table, but I had nothing really in a sense of, I don't like actually saying anything about it, because I think that God and the universe gave me exactly as much as I needed. And I'm very, very thankful and grateful. But just to say that I remember when I moved away and I was invited to a very, very fancy place, and I felt a little uncomfortable. And then I realized why I felt uncomfortable. And now I realize because I didn't feel I deserve it. And the same is with love. If you are not ready to receive something magical, that you don't see that you deserve that, then you tend to neglect that and you tend to choose something less. So this is why I say that your twin flame, your true twin flame, is not because they don't love you or they don't want to be with you or all of that. If they feel they are not ready for it, or if they don't feel that they could be with that, or I'm not saying that you have to be in a relationship, that's another thing. I don't mean that. What I mean is the reason of love to receive that. Then another thing is that you, during your time, you attract a bit of intense relationships, meaning of you're gonna get quite a lot of inner work to be done. This is now something where I cannot really relate as much, because I haven't had many relationships. I was always very protective of my energy, and so in the sense of I have my husband, and I mean, the one is my twin that I never really, like I said, I like to protect my energy. So here I cannot really say that I have attracted a lot of intense relationships, but I have, in the sense of attract intense relationships where, like friendship-wise or family-wise. So I would say the family is a mess somehow, but at the same time, now of this twin flame journey, it has really changed and shifted. So the next thing is that a lot of twin flames have naturally healing abilities. And that's why you attract a lot of people in need. So here is something you just kind of a little bit need to make a peace with, that your energy will attract those who need something from you. And again, setting a clear boundary will help you a lot, that you don't give your energy away. But a lot of people will feel very comfortable around you, especially for those who have hard times in their life. So, and of course, twin flames often discover during this time their empathic, their telepathic healing possibilities they can do for others. And that's another thing. On a retreat, we were able to see that as well, how healing and transforming are the twin flames for each other, and how they open up the knowing what you have. So that's why I say that retreat we had here in Cyprus was absolutely transforming, because they're all a big family. They help each other, they see each other, they channel for each other, they do so much together, that I obviously believe that these souls already decided before me knowing that I ever going to organize any retreat. These souls already knew that they're gonna meet here in Cyprus, they're gonna show it to each other. And that's why I say our minds know very little, the souls already know way, way more. So just to say these things, that you are part of this healing part. So whichever way you're going to start looking into, and it does not mean that you need to be a healer. What I mean is you just have it naturally. So sometimes with your words, sometimes with your hands, sometimes just being present, you have it all. And that's why I say, when I have a couple of you over here who are doctors, I would say you're gonna, or psychologists, or very in a, I would say, academic field, but now they bring their energy of healing with that. And I'm like, wow, if you can keep that and speak your truth and hold that with this, magic is gonna happen. So the next thing would be that you feel a little different, or you're standing out a little different ways, and you kind of feel, I'm not saying that you don't belong somewhere, or you don't have friends, or you could be completely in a sense of fitting in very well, but with certain things you feel and you see things very differently. And that's where now the authenticity and truth comes in, because often the families you are born into, or the friends you happen to have, they don't understand you 100%. And that also comes in of saying that twin flames often have so-called psychic abilities, and that comes because we are highly sensitive. Psychic abilities is not something so unusual. The fact is that many of us have lost it. Many of us are losing, and psychic ability does not mean that somebody sees future and predicts future and knows everything that's going to happen. No, psychic abilities are very simple somehow. Are the fact that exactly you can tell by your receiving the downloads, new information that might not be out there, but you're already receiving it and your body knows it. But often what happens is that the fact that we are receiving the information, we start fighting against it. So we don't speak our truth because there is no proof. And another day, and I don't want to bring this in at all, but just another day I came across with that I remember there was a discussion maybe a year ago or half a year ago, I can't remember exactly, about twin flames in a sense of are not the same soul, but they are your past life version of you or something like that. And so it's you in the past. And for me, it's a little bit like, and I'm not saying that this is a wrong or right version, don't get me wrong here, but what my inner self is saying to me that we are in a breakthrough of our science. Why to rely on the information that we have, proven in one way or another? But there are so many things in the universe, in this world, we haven't figured yet out. And that's why for me, the closest thing of twin flames, and this is my soul telling me and why I'm so addicted of watching about quantum physics, all about all of that, because we are in a breakthrough of something absolutely phenomenal. And so, and my soul stands for that. My soul stands that we are very much connected, and we are energy, and there are energies that are very, very powerful, meaning of they cannot stay in one human body. They have to be in a separate bodies in order to function. And also by the quantum physics, which is the fact that there are one element, let's say one proton, then if it moves, if it does something, it affects another one, even though there is a light years apart and things. And these are now information that we're receiving. And this is why I say that speaking your truth is very important. And why is it important is that you might have some information, or you might have something that can bring new light into this world, change and shift, whether it's through music, whether it's through art, whether it's through books, whether, I don't know, but the standing by of that truth that you know. Here is why also the workshops I do and things I do, it's not because of, I don't even know what could be the option. It's for me to unlock and help you to unlock that truth that you know. And I'm very passionate about it because I saw how my life changed and shifted when I started speaking my truth and just keeping it as it is. And I don't need to prove, I don't fight for, it's none of it. I'm now there, and that's why I say that when we are collectively together and speaking our truth, so much magic can happen. Because it's difficult to silence the voice of your soul. And even if the rest of the world don't understand you, it doesn't matter. You have to speak your truth. We can see this in the history over and over and over again, where some scientists or where some artists or where some singers weren't appreciated during their lifetime, and later on they realized, and often they say they were ahead of their time. That also brings us to the next thing, that most of us desire and wish for are very authentic connections. The connections that are based on fake relationships or making you feel good, or where you don't get nourished and you don't really last there that long. And this is another thing, that when we try to fit in, I tell you, twin flames, you will never fit in. You always stand out. You'll always stand out. Your light is stronger. And when you stand out, sometimes people can, of course, come after you. They can say something that can hurt your feelings or can make you feel in certain ways. But you are just a little degree different. So do not be afraid of being authentic self of yours and speaking your truth. I always say when people come to the calls with me that I just want to hear your truth. I don't care what the society tells you what to feel, how to feel on Twin Flame Journey. I don't care what people tell about the love and not. I just wanted that you explain currently your relationship within you and your, whether it's needs, wants, whatever. Because that vocalizing things helps tremendously of understanding what's going on within you. And of course, here is another thing, is that often twin flames, and that's why I say you start seeking for the fact of self-improvement in any kind of ways. And many of you can be academically very much, because they always feel, I need to do more, I need to do more, I need to be better, I need to go there. So it's a constant rat race where you are in it. And here I'm just going to say, here also your twin flame comes to remind you that you are doing amazing. Slow down, trust, receive. But then, of course, comes the healing part and feeling that maybe I'm not good enough for my twin flame. Maybe I'm not beautiful enough. Maybe I don't have money enough. Maybe I don't have this. Maybe I don't have that. Maybe I don't have a third, fourth, fifth thing. Listen, you have it all. Now you just need to learn to trust and receive something magical for yourself as well. And twin flames struggle with receiving, struggling boundaries, struggling of speaking their truth, because it can be completely different than the society expects from you. Can be having a hard time of being in a society where you need to, go against the morals, or you kind of don't fit in. At the same time, you can totally fit in, but the light is always on you. So if any of you found some of these things relatable that has happened to you, or you felt that, oh my God, that's I am as a soul. And even if you haven't met your twin yet, then here is a very high likely chance that you will. And there's a reason for that. It's a frequency. There is something that you are... I don't like putting anybody into the thing that somebody's better and somebody's worse, or somebody's more sensitive and somebody's less sensitive and somebody's this and that. No. We all have a mission here. We all have our ways of living here. Some of us are awakened and some of us are not awakened. And actually one of the other signs is, two other signs just to add on. One of them is going through a spiritual awakening, but not only one. So you can have a couple of spiritual awakenings. So for those who have, let's say, had just recently the ego death through your twin, you can have second or third or fourth. So just be ready for that. And also very much connected to the nature. You always feel somehow that nature speaks to you, whether it's the water, whether it's the forest, whether it's going to like mountains or like hiking, all of these kind of things. You feel very much connected because you feel that there is some information, or even just lying down on the grass. And now here is just also many of us who are already in that path. These things, like you start craving them more and more and more for them. I could talk for hours more and over here, but I will stop it today because I spent a lot of time on the boundaries and I spent a lot of time in certain things. Didn't plan that it's going to come like this, but I cannot control here. That's what's coming and that's what my soul is going to tell you, and that's how you're going to receive it. I'm just going to go through a few things. On the twinflameawakeningjourney.com you can use the code I am divine, which will give you an access to have a session with me, whether it's a first time session you've been looking forward to, or it's or it's the energy activation, which I recommend at the end of the year. Whichever way you're feeling it, that is necessary for you, and you want to make yourself a gift this year. Then for Costa Rica, I still say you sign up as quick as possible. We have signed up a lot of people, but the payments tend not to come as quickly. So I just want to say that those who have signed up and you haven't paid your first payment, it's in a sense of delay. So with meaning that if someone grabs your spot, it's gone. So make sure that you are going to sign up through the form, and then you have a payment done and you're all good. You don't have to worry. But if not, then unfortunately your place can be gone very quickly. So that's why, as I say, those who want to join and feel like it's their time to meet their soul family, do it now. Your soul knows that before you know that you have to be there. And Patreon, we have on 15th of December, full moon energies, to do another session. It will go up and you can join. And then during the December, there are all the workshops that we have. Hopefully, now I managed to make them smaller files. They should go up. And yeah, and then those who would like to connect, talk, share, ask, get some healing, get some transformation, anything, to inflameawakeningjourney.com. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for the support. Your presence means the world to me wherever you are right now, whether you're listening to me in the car, whether you're listening to me at work, at home, while cooking, whatever you do. I just want to say that your presence is more than appreciated and your energy is well received. Lots of love and lots of light, and I see you here very soon.
Underneath the lights, look into each other's eyes. Tired snowflakes are coming down, collapse into water when they hit the ground. I hear the sound of empty streets. Yesterday has gone to sleep, so all that's left is you and me. I can promise you're the only thing I see. Hold my hand and hear the words I say. Close your eyes and let us fade away. Build a secret place for you and me. Let our minds be caught up in a dream. Quiet voices in the night. Time is running out of sight. A lonely wind is passing by, tries to carry all the whispers that it finds. The walls are listening when we talk, making echoes as we walk. There's no one left but you and me. It's like a made-up place that only we can see. Hold my hand and hear the words I say. Close your eyes and let us fade away. Build a secret place for you and me. Let our minds be caught up in a dream. Standing underneath the lights, look into each other's eyes. There's no one left but you and me. It's like a made-up place that only we can see.